So we're back again with the 1J swap. It's a different day. I went and got some more hose. So I finished up. So what I got right now, let me get a different light real quick. Okay, so what I got the fuel line coming up from where we tied it in to the filter up here all the way across and dropping back down. It's still kind of laying loose. So I hooked up the heater core hose, this one here, then this one. I got slack in it. I can shorten it later, or I can pull it up here tight, but with the motor still moving, I don't know where it's gonna live just yet. So I'm gonna leave slack in it till I get everything where I want it. That way I don't catch my hoses. I want to leave everything where I've got too much slack right now. And then we will adjust as we need it. So, I have no clue what that was. So, I got that going there. So we'll pull that down. We'll try to figure out where to cut it off. So that's what I'm doing with the fuel line. We're not drifting this weekend. I guess they moved the date another 2 weekends away. So I've got time to work on this. No rush now. But still, I'm not concerned with making it look great. Again, because we got that. This one we just want to get it running and on the road and driftable without issues. So that's where we're going with this for now. Alright, I'm going to raise the car, pull the fuel line down, try to get a measurement to where it needs to live, and we'll go from there. Alright, here we go. Alright, so I ended up connecting all of the fuel line. So set the battery in and took a couple of the main wires that come out of that fuse box and hooked to the actual hot side of the battery. Then I grounded the battery. Alright, so I followed the KA harness and I found a ground right here. It's this one. So evidently it was close to some heat because it's got some heat shrink on it. But I'm guessing this ain't primarily the fuel pump ground, but if you'll listen, so I've got the fuel pump. Alright, so I used the regulator. The regulator is the one that was on the motor that came with it. So when I ground this, if you'll watch the top of that cap right there, I'm getting fuel pressure. So I've been all through the lines and stuff that I've got hooked up. And I'm not seeing any types of leaks or anything. If you can see that lid, it's hard to tell, I know. You see that little dude there? Plus I can hear it. I mean, I don't know if you can hear it on the camera, but my hands are shaking trying to hold this thing, but let's see if I can't get it. Which I'm sure you can see it, but I've been through all the lines. I'm gonna have to figure out where to mount that thing. That was actually mounted to the back of the block. That's where the mount ended up going. I ended up using one of the factory fittings, kind of similar to this style, but there was a bend in it and I ended up straightening it. So I ended up straightening that bend using not the motor side, but the body side. It had that little short piece on it, so I cut the rubber end off. I'll show you wherever this thing is. It's went flying somewhere, I think, but I cut somewhere. Anyway, I cut the end of it off. So by cutting the end of it off, it allowed me to bend that. I stuck a socket on it and kind of pecked it and straightened that piece of tubing out, and I slid my 3/8 hose up on it, double clamped it just like I did on when I actually cut the return and supply. None of that leaks. We've got fuel, so my engine's good on fuel. Now I guess I'll put my power steering fluid in it, check all that. I won't be able to run it and have pressure on it, but at least as far as the reservoir and all that, I'll be able to see if it leaks. Finish taking the harness out, so because I shouldn't have power for, I shouldn't need the KA harness for anything. Then I'll be ready to do some wiring, I think. Maybe, I dread it. But either way, I do need some battery relocate stuff and a distribution block. That is something I will need. But all right, here we go. All right, I'm about finished up for the day. I'm going to end up having to, which I already did, order the MAF sensor. Doesn't have it. That thing was 150 bucks. I'm going to have it for the ECU to read the airflow coming through. So I have to have that. Without going aftermarket like a standalone or something, I have to have that. The igniter they had cut off, so I got to wire it. So the igniter came cut off. I found the wires for it. It's right here. The actual MAF, that's where it'll wire in. The battery will relocate. I've got some heat shrink ready. I've got to do some wiring on this thing. I got to put some fluid in. I ordered a throttle cable, an actual bracket, so I can still use the 240. I ordered that today, and I'll be pulling the 240 harness out and waiting on some more parts. So I'm about as far as I can go, minus soldering that and doing that wiring and pulling the 240 actual chassis harness out, or the engine harness out. So, and then start maybe relocating the battery. I do have some wire here, so I may go ahead and start that. And there is some actual bigger wire in here. Somebody actually had a stereo or something. That's plenty big enough to do a battery relocate. It goes all the way to the trunk. So I can go ahead and do that. I do need to get a distribution block and some more wire. And I need a kill switch at some point. But moving right along. So, all right. All right. So first thing we're going to do is we're going to take the AR5 pilot bearing, and we're going to put that jewel in there. Oh. It should just knock right in there. It's starting to. There we go. That'll work better. There we go. There we go. So, that's the first move. Alright, now we got to hunt our bolts up, and we got to put our flywheel on. Let's get on that then. Okay, so I had some flywheel bolts. One thing I don't see is a lot of times there will be a mark of some sort to tell you what matches the mark on the flywheel. Now, I don't see any of the sort for balance purposes. Now this wasn't balanced together, so I don't think it would really matter. And we don't have a crank sensor that's on the flywheel, so it shouldn't really matter where this thing lives. So I don't know that we really have to be concerned with that. Let's hope we got some holes lined up here. This thing's gonna be a little cattywampus. It took me a minute to find out where the holes are and whatnot, and I'll pry this back off, maybe, and I'll get a bolt started before I push it up on there and get a rubber hammer and peck it on there. So, all right, let me pop this off, try to line the holes up a little better, and we'll go from there, because I don't think it really matters. There's not a dowel of any sort to see or to adjust or match up. So, all right, here we go. All right, so got her somewhat lined up there. So we'll take her bolts. I'm gonna put a little thread locker on each one of them. And I don't have it pulled all the way in. I just got it just enough to line the bolts up. So I dab a thread locker on each one. I used a blue thread locker. I don't use the really strong stuff, but I've never had any issues, so I don't see the point of going to a stronger thread locker when never have I ever had any problems with a flywheel bolt coming loose. Knock on wood. So if I've ever taken one off and it was maybe a little loose, I would have went to a better thread locker, but it's never happened. So they're always tight every time I ever take them off. If it's one that I've installed, they're never had one loose. I think these are 17. Alright, I'll get the torque specs on this jewel. That should be pulled up. I'll peck on it a little bit before I actually do, but then I'll get the torque specs and I'll torque this jewel. Alright, here we go. Alright, so got the old torque wrench out, got her torqued in. Now we get some brake cleaner and clean that surface. I'm going to have to get the snap ring pliers out and put the actual clutch, or the, the pressure plate and that throwout bearing setup put on that jewel. Alright, here we go. Alright, so kind of at a halt here. I don't have any pressure plate bolts for the W or the R154. I think the ones I have are a W55 or 58. And then after I get that remedied, I think I can go ahead and put the transmission on, but I have to fix that. I have to find some. But all right, that's what I'm working on. All right, here we go. Hey, we appreciate you watching the videos. Bear with me on the 1JZ stuff in the 240s, the S chassis. This is all new to me, so I'm learning as I run into a part that I need. I have to order it, figure out what's next, you know, kind of thing. The only way I know how to do it, especially with having rentals and stuff running around. But appreciate you guys watching, sticking in there with me. I don't know how far this car will go, the S14, but we will work on it continually until we get either that done or run out of money or get back on that one or something else changes. It always does. May end up at a rental, may get to see some of that stuff, and we're going drifting sometime. They canceled it this weekend, so I don't know when we'll go back. We may go to a different spot or something, I don't know. But hey guys, thanks for watching the videos. Like, subscribe, comment. Feel free to comment. We are selling merch on eBay still. We have some stuff there. That stuff moves pretty good, so whatever we're showing is what we got. I adjust, you know, when we sell, you know, whatever we have, however much we have of it. Follow us on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok. I do that too. A little bit of everything. Just Chesser Motorsports, Chesser Drifting. Just look us up. Come drift with us. All right, here we go.